September 2023 Autimedes channel update by Richard Woods at London South Bank University PhD student. Yeah, just a quick bit about the introduction. This is going to be a very short video for me. It just talks about the present situation of the channel. Topic we're going to be moving on to kind of playlists. Talking about the views on PDA in 2023 series. Um, then just briefly covering how I've revised my plans for it, and then just concluding comments. So yeah, about the present situation for the channel. So you might have noticed that over the last couple of years, I have been just uploading a mixture of kind of my conference talks. More recently, kind of shorter videos to kind of make my work a bit more accessible to people on various topics, but it's been done in a very much an ad hoc manner. So what I'm trying to do recently is kind of get a bit more regular and consistent in the output. Um, so yeah, um, um, which I'm going to kind of get onto in a moment or two. Um, so yeah, talking about the playlist. So it's part of me kind of getting a bit more serious with this channel. I've kind of created multiple playlists, um, kind of specialising in various topics. Multiple videos applicable to a few, if not several, playlists. So you'll see the same video popping up in different places depending on the topic. I'm also trying to. I've done this to try and make the channel more accessible for people who are interacting with it. So people can kind of go to the playlists that are suitable for them. And it's like if you noticed the kind of series that was started talking about discussing the current views on PDA in 2023, you'll notice that it's a relatively long series with probably about 15 videos overall. Um, but there are numerous kind of sub kind of series, kind of like there's like a few kind of like trilogies in there, or there's a couple of duologies that will be in there. That'll get their own playlist. So yeah, so I'm gonna go talk a bit more about this kind of views on PDA in 2023 series. So the mainly aim to be short videos. For me, and by short I mean for me like between 15 to 25 minutes. I'm going to try and keep them between 15 and 20 if possible. Discussing my and hopefully just covering as introductions to various topics. I originally thought this series was going to be about 10 videos, but it has changed quite a bit. Um, and when I originally kind of conceptualized this series, it's only going to be like a series of like three trilogies and one like big video at the end. So the original trilogy was going to be like how PDA profile of autism is constructed, like what seems to be ignored in the PDA literature, any kind of implications of that kind of videos. Um, so what the first trilogy is mainly expanding the kind of three topics in the introductory video, which is like why PDA profile of autism seems to be another autism scandal waiting to happen. The middle trilogy was meant to be what how I currently what I currently think PDA seems to be, what one should practically do about PDA, and contrasting my approach to PDA with PDA profile of autism advocates. Um, that's one I'm kind of looking forward to doing because it's kind of very much the practical one to do. It's very much practical for other people, like actual real life. And the final one is just kind of the other trilogy. So, well, that is kind of just other videos that are relevant to this series and just kind of mopping up kind of trilogy because it's got in there like critiquing PDA strategies video which is already made. Why BBC Panorama? Why it's useful for BBC Panorama to investigate PDA profile of autism, and a kind of like the pro PDA profile of autism kind of video. Um, and I also added a thought experiment video that kind of discusses it's a full video discussing the thought experiment of non-autism investigating non-autism PDA thought experiment video. Um, so yeah, I'm originally going to try and do it ad hoc. I'm still going to try and do it ad hoc, but it's going to be roughly at 2 week intervals if possible. Um, And if you kind of add that to the rest of the videos I need to produce, it will probably take me 4 to 5 months to complete this series. So it should run into like early 2024. Um, so yeah, you might have noticed that my plans for this views on PDA in 2003 series has kind of revised a bit. I've added some videos that I've previously made to the list, but I've also been kind of chipping away at the series a bit over the last few weeks. Um, but so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to present this as the remaining videos that I kind of need to make. I've got some of them in different stages of production. So the next video for me to make, which is kind of it's going to be an abridged version of examples of how Peter Profile for Autism seems to be constructed video, because 40 minutes is too long for people to kind of access quite easily. So I'm going to try and I've got the abridged one, which should be hopefully under 25 minutes. Though not quote me on that, but it is. I have lopped quite a bit out of it to get an abridged one, so that's the next one. Um, the one after that is going to be how pedo traits have changed to become autism-like video. And then I'm going to be kind of finishing off the kind of trilogy of ex- expounding kind of the topics in the original video to the series, which is the why pedo profile autism seems to be another autism scandal waiting to happen video. So in that video, there's 3 topics. So you've got indicators that PDA profile autism is a constructed category. You've got pertinent points in the pedo literature that seems to be ignored, and then you've got kind of broader cultural factors. So there's 2 topics which are out of that video that need to be expanded upon. So there's kind of pertinent information to you've got pertinent information that seems to be ignored. And then you've got the final video should be kind of broader cultural context to video profile of autism video. Um, so I'm quite looking forward to getting those two out of the way and completing that trilogy, and then moving on to the trilogy that I'm actually most looking forward to making, which is the kind of most kind of practical videos in this series, which should be like our current views on PDA, what it seems to be, moving on to like what one should do about PDA. Yeah, so that's kind of very much practical steps in particular. Because the first one is going to be like more kind of conceptual, and the second one's going to be like actually what do you do about it in practice. And the third one is kind of like why I take my approach to PDA and why it matters. And if I have time and space, I will try and contrast that with pedo profile of autism advocates approach to it. So there's a couple of other videos that kind of need to be made to kind of complete this series off at that point. So there will be the defense of pedo profile of autism video, because I should really do that to kind of give some balance to the series and kind of just not just be me continually just bashing PDA profile of autism. And the final one is going to be the big massive one, which is probably going to be like 45 minutes to an hour long, which is going to be the my BBC Panorama could investigate pedo profile of autism. The material for that, as in like the rough material, is already done. I just need to put it into slides, but I haven't had the 2 to 3 days to do that yet. That should basically complete the series. Again, if you kind of like not times nine times by 2, that's about 18 weeks. That's about 4 to 5 months. It might be longer depending on what's going on in my life at the time. So the aim is to put out a consistent output of at least 1 to 2 videos a month on this topic. And that will be in addition to if I've got any kind of conference talks and stuff, which I will upload. And I do have at least one seminar video to upload, which will be by the end of the year. I've submitted a abstract for a conference in October, which I've not heard back from. So yeah, I'm just going to move on to concluding comments. So if anyone's been familiar with my recent kind of seminars or podcasts I've been doing on PDA over the last couple of months, you should notice that I'm actually trying to be incredibly empathetic towards the vulnerable people that are having PDA. I would say seems to be kind of targeted at. So that's kind of like the person's expressing of PDA features and PDA caregivers. Um, the PDA literature will acknowledge that those expressing PDA behaviours are vulnerable people, and I've also argued in print um, that PDA caregivers are a vulnerable group as well. Um, one, because literature indicates they have higher anxiety slash high relatively high stress levels, but it also makes sense when you kind of think about the behaviours that are being associated with PDA. That one, if one is expressing those kind of behaviours, it'd be quite difficult for a person to kind of consistently express them, and also be quite difficult for those around them to kind of regularly receive them. Or so, yeah. I think that we kind of need to be incredibly empathetic to those who seem to be wanting uh, a PDA attribution, like as in the caregivers and those who are kind of expressing PDA features. I think I think they are vulnerable groups. Yeah, so that's basically about it, really. I think we kind of need to be kind of humble and acknowledge our kind of perspectives and be open to other people's opinions and perspectives on PDA. And I think we kind of need to be respectful of divergent outlooks on the topic and equally respect them if that is at all possible. Um, so yeah, I'm moving on to the end of this video. So um, just a normal ending side of this point, which is like my contact information, so my email address, Twitter handle, ResearchGate link to my kind of research outputs, and the YouTube channel itself. So um, yeah, that's basically about it. So thank you for your time, and I hope you find this update useful.